episode of Chatty Broads with Bekah and Jess.
Well, this morning turned into a little bit of a saga. We had some drama in my house. Do you know what my child did, Bekah?
What?
So I was getting ready. She'd been awake for like 15 minutes. We're getting her ready for school. And all of a sudden she comes in and she's like, Mom, I did an experiment and I'm having a little bit of a problem.
Oh no. You never want to hear the words experiment come out of the mouth of a 6-year-old.
Experiment and problem.
Oh,
I'm just like,
not
what
good.
is going on? She's been like obsessed with ice cube trays lately and like filling
That's
up.
so funny. So have our kids. Yeah.
Really?
Like, yeah. We've been showing them like the concept of like, look, we're putting water in the ice cube trays and it freezes. Like, now,
I mean, it is a miracle of nature. I can't hate on them for that. But just like, making the ice cubes. It is fascinating. But she's been doing that a lot lately, like puts them in before bed. And then in the morning, that's the first thing she runs. And she's like, look at my eyes. It's just dripping everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, she decided, without talking to us, to bust. I'm gonna throw up.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm nervous. Break it to me, girl.
She found our Parmesan cheese,
like this is like the powder kind,
kind, and covered the ice with Parmesan cheese. Like she refilled it up. So it was like water and Parmesan. And she got, it went too high. So she started to dump it all into our
freezer.
No, that would have been worse.
Okay.
But she started to dump it into our bathroom sink, which has a very small drain. It was flooding over because it clogged a cheese water catastrophe, dripping everywhere, Parmesan cheese. And I was like, we have to do the podcast.
That's disgusting.
It's just like a lake of just cheesy water. So we had to do a little Drano run quick and clean her up.
Oh, gross.
Makes me feel sick.
Yeah, that's gross.
Makes me feel sick. You are deep in that age though with your kids where it's like stuff's getting pulled out.
No, it's also just like, dinner time too, along those lines where like, it's so annoying when you're like, I'm just going to give you a small shot glass of water. Like we just give them little shot glasses because it's so cute for them to have like a mini cup in their hands. It's adorable.
I know, it's so cute.
Can't resist it.
Or when they have a huge cup and they're just tiny hands.
Yeah. And it's like, of course I could give them like their normal straw cups or like sippy cups. But I'm like, no, I'll just give you a little glass. And then, of course, you turn around 1 second and then you've got the crust stuffed in the water. And then you've got the water spilled in the rice and they're going like this, having a little, doing some experiments, just squeezing it in their hands. And it's nasty.
Like, Mommy, mush. Just squishing it.
By the way, what we're going to do today for the episode, I'll give a little rundown. Then I have another story about experiments related. We're going to just talk about life for a little bit because you did some fun stuff this weekend. You went to DragCon with Ember. It looked like the best experience ever.
It was the best weekend.
I have an interesting story about Gray and Disneyland. So we got to kind of do that for a second. And then we're going to talk about some news in the media and then do a little advice update, Broad's advice update.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. All right. One time, just on kids with experiments too, like one time I was nannying, I think I've told the story before, but I was nannying for 3 kids and one of them was 5 or 6. And I remember I came into the backyard and he was like, he and Ember would have gotten along. He had like this, like the outfits were always just like, he would have like on a safari hat and like neon orange Crocs and like oversized sunglasses.
Just a god.
And
just an absolute
king
legend god.
Men. So he was dressed like that. And he had all of these, like, he had these extension cords, like 3 extension cords plugged together and was filling up a bucket of water and had the extension cords in his hand. They're plugged into the house. And I was like, Louis, no, like, what are you doing?
Oh my God.
And he goes, he's like, I'm experimenting. And was like, just all pissed, like, I'm experimenting. And I'm like, yeah, you're going to be like experimenting with the afterlife. Like, get out of here.
Oh my God, I love that in the attitude too. If people do not have children, I used to judge, when like
right, and then you wonder too, why did he have extension cords? I don't know.
It happens so quickly. Like again, I was like this morning with the cheese water. I wasn't with Ember for 5 minutes.
No, I mean, and like,
she's 6 years old.
No, and it's like this. There's like stuff too where it's like, especially if you have pet stuff, it's like the dog throws up, you're cleaning up the dog throw up, like a glass just broke in the bathroom. So you're like cleaning that up. And oftentimes you're trying to get things done quickly because you have to go to work. You have to get the kids to school. So you're not really processing like, I should put the child in front of a show or busy them with a book while I clean this up to make sure they don't just plug 3 extension cords together and electrocute themselves to death or fill up the bathtub with cheese or the bathroom sink. It's just not.
The bathtub would have been better.
Like the processing is just oftentimes you're like, I could never expect that's like what was going to unfold.
Anytime that I remember anytime that I would go and grab something quickly, in the bathroom for Ember when she was younger. I mean, she was definitely old enough to be like sitting in the bathtub with like an inch of water.
Right, yeah.
It was only ever then that she would poop the bath.
Disgusting.
Only ever then would be like, Mom, I pooped. And I was like, oh, the level of cleaning that has to go.
That is so, bro. You just like, you're like, I was staying at a friend's house and her daughter pooped in the bathtub and it was like, we got all the kids out. We washed them off and she's just like, I'm going to handle that in like an hour.
It takes so long. I remember one time she pooped the bed and I was just having a day and I just sobbed on the bathroom floor. I was like, I just wanted to put you to bed. It's been such a long day. She's like, I pooped the bath. And I'm like,
oh, God,
why? Thankfully that's not happening anymore so much.
Also just like when you have a kid, you're generally just trying to like, you're playing like Tetris with time where you're so you see them, you're like, oh, they're occupied with their little blocks right now. I'm going to try to finish those last 2 dishes in the sink because you're literally like Tetrising in everything you have to do. And then you're like, wait, you were playing with the blocks. Like, how are you now using a pencil to scratch into our flat screen TV? What? Yeah. So anyway.
You have to Mission Impossible time.
Okay. But speaking of the joys of children, please talk about your guys' experience at DragCon. This is year 3?
This is only our second year because so DragCon is through RuPaul's Drag Race and they've been doing it for a couple of years, but took a 2-year break because of COVID.
Right.
But
oh my God. So that was 2019?
The last time she went. Yes. And that was her first time going. I
remember that.
And she was like alive.
So was she 3?
Was she 3? 4? 3. I think she had just turned 4.
Oh.
But she loved it so much. And so then she, like, the past 2 years, for her birthday, when I'd be like, what do you want for your birthday? She was like, I want tickets to DragCon. Mm-hmm.
Okay, anyway.
She's like, I want tickets to DragCon. So that was always what she wanted. But then the past 2 years, I was like, sorry, honey. Like, I would buy tickets and then they'd be like, we can't do it, whatever.
She must have been 3. Wait, I'm just trying to figure it out because with Ruth's age, if she would like it or not. Because if it was 2019, spring 2019, she would have been 3.
Oh, that's wild.
I know.
In her little photo, she's just a little nugget. Oh, man. Ruth would love it.
I am so taking her next year.
I had people sending me messages being like, would my kids enjoy this? Let me tell you.
Any child, probably.
It is so magical. It's wonderful. Like, take the kids.
Because it's like
the children.
Colorful, bright, flashy, like
everyone. It is. So like I was saying, it's through RuPaul's Drag Race and it's set up where there are like a ton of booths that have vendors and all the vendors have to do with drag. So there's tons of makeup vendors and they have chairs there where you can get your makeup done, glitter vendors, wig vendors, heels, clothes,
fun.
All the fabulous things. And you can just sit and interact or with like the vendors and they'll put their product on you or you buy different things. And then all the other booths have different drag queens who were mostly from the show. And, you know, they design their own booths, which is so cool. And some of these queens just have unbelievable art direction in their booths.
Ooh,
and
that's
so
cool.
then you have like these amazing backgrounds. You wait in line for a meet and greet, and, you know, you take photos, and it's so much fun. And then like RuPaul is DJing. They've got a catwalk, so certain queens are coming out. It is a party and a half. And it's just one of those places where it's like, it's just, everyone is just being who they are. And there's so much love. It's just pulsating with like love and acceptance. And it's beautiful.
That's
I
cool.
just had, let me tell you, after the second day, I was exhausted because I took Ember alone. Evan had to work. He was devastated because we had so much fun in 2019. But you know, you're on your feet. It's like the full day.
Yeah.
And the girl would not let me leave. Let me tell you, we got there at 9 a.m. and we were not leaving until the night. And it was like,
that is a long day.
Waiting in lines for like 2 hours to meet certain queens. And you're just like, and Ember's like, I will wait.
Yeah.
And I was like, I won't. There was a few queens she wanted to meet so bad, but I'm like, the line's 3 hours, girlfriend. Like,
that is wild that the lines are that long.
Yeah. Some of, you know, it just depends on, you know, the popularity of them, or like, you know, the winner of the last season, Willow Pill, had like a line. That's Ember really wanted to meet Willow. And I'm like, Ember, the line is literally 3.5 hours. Like, I will buy you some merch, but there's no way you're going to be okay waiting for 3.5 hours. But it was so fun and so, okay.
Any particular highlights?
First of all, she was just killing me because she was so specific about what she needed to wear to DragCon. Both outfits. The first day it was like red, all glam. She picked out everything top to bottom
because she wanted to look like a rose. Yeah,
she wanted to look like the rose. That was the inspiration. And then the second day she wanted to look like Adore Delano, who's kind of like a punk rock queen. So she had these like, you know, little like baggy pants and like a little crop top, and she's like, I want my eyes like this and I want ears. And she just had, it was very specific.
So
girl
fun.
had her fan, her big fan, just strutting through the aisles, just like living. And so the first day she was a little nervous going in. All of a sudden it hit her. She's like, Mom, I love the queens so much, but I'm so nervous to meet them because they are so fabulous. What should I say? Like, what am I supposed to say? So I was telling her, I'm like, Ember.
Wait, what's her exposure? Like YouTube videos or like
we watched the show
race?
together.
Okay.
So she knows like a lot of the queens. So she's like meeting some of these queens who she is like, they are gods. I worship at the feet of them. And she's like, they're so fabulous. Like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to say to them. And I'm like, Ember, you're fabulous too. I'm like, it's okay. Like you can be comfortable and talk. And so of course
they're all gonna die over the little kids. Like everyone is just gonna be gushing.
All the queens were so sweet to her and gave her like extra time. It was so cool too because so many of the queens' booths that were set up and then the merch that was attached to it, it was like a family affair. All of the booths were either run by the queens, like brothers and sisters, or
cool.
their partners, or like their chosen family. It was all a family, so it just had that energy to it.
Fun.
And so like the brothers and the sisters would see, there was numerous moments where like we were in line for this one Queen Aquaria and she spotted Ember in the line. It was going to be like an hour wait, and she pulled Ember deep from the line, was like, have her come up. Aww. And like, so there was numerous situations like that where they were giving her free merch. They were telling her how beautiful she was. She left after 48 hours and this girl's ego was through the roof, like out of control. But she was super nervous at first to meet the first queen. She was like, wasn't just so shy and was like, hello, you know, whatever. And then she got more and more comfortable. But I grabbed so she had told me, she was like, I think I want to interview some of the queens, like how you do on the podcast. I want to interview some. So I'm like, I'm going to try to get a press pass and see if Ember would be down, like if she wanted to. So we brought this like fake mic for her and she was just so nervous. Like she was practicing interviewing me as a queen beforehand and Bekah the questions.
Oh, I bet they're amazing.
She had her mic and she was just like, Mommy, pretend you're a queen. I'm like, all right. She's like, so how old's your mom? I was like,
the question everyone wants to know.
50. And she's like, wow, so interesting. I've never met someone who's 50 before. Do you ever pee in the bath? And I'm like, if you show up and you interview these queens and ask the questions, phenomenal.
Yes.
She was just way too nervous, but she tried. She had her moment where she just tried for a moment with a queen named Alaska, who's so funny. And Ember walks up, no cool, just walks right up to her, doesn't even say hello, and is like, she goes, this fabulous, really famous drag queen, what's your favorite food? And Alaska's like, noodles, I guess. So thrown off. Noodles, I guess. And Ember says, oh, my teacher loves noodles. I thought you were going to say apples. I definitely thought you were going to say apples. And like gives her the mic back. And I'm like, I'm looking over Ember's head. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I don't know.
I'm a podcaster. We thought it would run in the family. I think we miscalculated.
We have a through line. I hope you're not taking offense to the fact she assumes your favorite food would be an apple. I don't know what that means. I don't know why she said that. I'm just doing this. And Alaska's just trying not to lose it. And then we walk out and Ember was like, I was so good at that. And I'm like, you were top notch.
I am a natural.
She's like, I am Oprah. Okay. Next interview, Meghan Markle, bring it on. I mean, she knew she was phenomenal. And I'm like, okay, Ember, do you want to now try that with another queen? And she literally told me she ended her career right there because she's like, that was the pinnacle.
She goes, never gonna be able to top it.
She goes, I did so well. I think I'm done. Yeah. I'm like, oh, wait, okay.
I've dipped my toes in the journalist business and I've made my mark and it's time to move on.
She's like, sometimes when you're so good at something, you got to leave on a high note.
Right.
I mean, what else do you do?
Or as my dad would always say, like, you don't want to make the other kids jealous. So,
absolutely.
Be humble by just letting them have something.
The ego was unreal. And then this carried on to the next day at the kids' fashion show.
Oh, yeah. No, that's... Yeah.
So
this is, yeah.
This was, let me tell you, this was like a proper runway and there's a lot of people and they're cheering and shouting.
This all for the kids' fashion?
Yes.
That's adorable.
So they do it. The public library on Sunday mornings at like 11 a.m. at Drag Race every year. They have a kids' fashion show where any of the kids who want to can walk the runway.
I could cry. That's cute.
There are so many things like that too. Even when RuPaul is DJing, they'll bring the kids up.
That's so
they can dance on the runway, and he's waving at them.
Aww,
like
it's so fun.
It's amazing. So Ember had known the whole time that there was this like runway moment that she could have, and she was like, "I'm going to do it."
Yeah.
Morning of. I'm like, "Are you ready to do the fashion show?" And she's like, "I feel really nervous. Because she saw how intense the runway was now and all the people. She's like, I feel really nervous. I don't think I can do it. And I'm like, all right, you don't. Yeah. I'm like, you do what you want to do. If you want to do it, you don't. She's like, but I want to do it really badly. But I'm so nervous. And I'm like, let's think about it this way. If you don't do it, will you feel really sad that you didn't do it?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I'll be super. Oops. She's like, yeah, I'll be super sad. I'll be super sad. And then I said, well, then maybe you should. If you feel like you're going to be disappointed that you didn't, then maybe you should do it. But I'm like, but if we get there and you're not comfortable, then you don't have to do anything, honey. I'm like, this is all about you wanting to have fun. So we show up at the time and most all of the kids are older who are going to like walk this runway. I didn't know how it worked. They're like, hey, everybody, the kids gather over here. And they're like, okay, parents, you just wait in the front of the runway. We're taking them backstage and we're going to coordinate the whole thing.
Yeah, you're like, oh God.
So Ember's like, I look at her, I'm like, are you good? And she's like, yeah, okay. And they take them backstage. And so Ember, I was like, she's doing it. She went backstage all by herself. She doesn't know anybody. They're like telling them exactly what they need to do. So then the runway starts and it's loud. The people are cheering. Ember has been practicing for her runway walk every day of her life. This girl walks out halfway up, like just struts.
Yeah.
Halfway up the runway, makes it halfway and does a hard turn. Just a hard turn backwards.
Yes, and that's enough.
And she was like, doon, 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 doon. Hard turn, just bolts backwards, goes off the wrong side of the exit. They're like, no, come over here. And she's just doing it. And she comes out and she's like, I'm a god.
Right. I'm ready to start my career.
Like, I didn't know how she was going to be. I'm like, she didn't make it all the way. She didn't do the poses that she was planning on. She came back out and she goes, I was so nervous, but I was amazing.
Yeah,
and
I'm Heidi Klum.
I'm like, you really were amazing. And so she's like, give me my fan. And I give her the fan. And the rest of that day, she was going up to every booth and being like, I walked the runway. It was the ego. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was so much fun.
Oh my gosh, we're totally going next year.
We all have to go together. The kids will have so much fun. You will have the best time. And then she got full drag makeup on one eye by this amazing makeup artist who's also a drag queen. And I post about it and Craig goes, that's my cousin.
No way.
Yeah. And he just the nicest person.
What? That's cool.
Yeah. And they were absolutely amazing.
Of course, it's Craig's cousin.
Craig's like, that's my cousin, Jessica Messica. Like, what? Amazing.
I love it. Oh, that's
so
fabulous.
it was just absolutely wonderful. And I don't know. I wish I could go over and over and over and over and over again.
That is so fun.
And yeah, the queens were just incredible.
Wow.
Incredible.
Okay, well, speaking of waiting in lines, I got to tell about real quick, like our funny little Disney anecdote. First, let's do a little word from our sponsors.
I love a Disney anecdote. But first, there are enough hard things in life, broads, okay? Shopping for everyday household items and groceries really shouldn't be one of them. But before I started using Thrive Market to get my shopping done, it really wasn't an easy task. I would find myself driving all over town to get specific products at specific stores, which always took way longer than I expected or wanted. It just wasn't really a good system. But then I was introduced to Thrive Market, and honestly, shopping for my home is a breeze now.
That's because Thrive Market has compiled all the healthy necessities you could ever need or want into one easy to shop online marketplace. You've got healthy pantry essentials and sustainable meat and seafood, all the way to non-toxic cleaning products, also clean beauty. I love getting my beauty, my beauty products. I love getting my makeup and stuff from them. They have such a great variety. You can shop everything with ease and forget about it until your items show up right at your front door. They're pretty quick on shipping too. So everything on Thrive Market has been carefully vetted. Instead of pondering over healthy snack options or clean wellness brands wondering if they're actually going to be better for you, you can really shop confidently knowing that the team at Thrive has already done the work. And if the thing is on the site, they've passed the test.
And oh my Lord, if you have like specific eating needs, requirements, eaters at home, Thrive Market makes it so easy to shop for what you need. You can easily filter by over 90 different values like plant-based, keto, zero waste, and so many more. I love this filter, especially when I'm looking for quick and easy snacks. It makes finding things so simple.
Yeah, and it was really helpful for like when I was doing my Candida diet and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, I can just like filter through and find all the snacks that meet this. So anyway, can your grocery store do that? Probably not. That's why you should join Thrive Market today to get 40% off your first order and a free gift worth over $50. That's THRIVE market.com/chatty to get 40% off your first order and a free gift worth over $50. That's thrivemarket.com/chatty, thrivemarket.com/chatty.
So obviously we just celebrated Mother's Day, but the parental love train doesn't stop there because before you know it, it's going to be Father's Day. And if you listen to our advice, then maybe you gifted your mom something special from Framebridge, and I can pretty much guarantee she loved it. But you know who else loves the framed photos of their kids and grandkids? The dads. I don't care how rough or tough your dad is. He's going to get sentimental and would love a framed family photo, okay?
I just did this for Father's Day. Or 2 years ago, I did it for Father's Day with my dad. And then for Mother's Day this year, Framebridge makes it so easy. Like,
so easy.
Okay, I was in town with my family. We went up to the mountains with my grandma. I took some pictures of my grandma and the kids. She was like, oh my God, I love these. Literally, while I was in the car, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get on FrameBridge right now and just upload them from my phone. Literally right then, in like less than 5 minutes, I had the photos ordered to be framed, and they got to her house like 2 or 3 days later. It was so quick and so easy. So I love FrameBridge. Like I was saying, Select Gifts even ship the next day. That's what I did for her. It was incredible.
It's amazing. And then also you're going to be able to preview your special items in dozens of different frame styles. You pick the one you or your dad or your loved one will love the most. And in no time, you'll have your custom frame item delivered directly to your door, ready to hang. You can even stop by a store, by the way, in person to work with one of FrameBridge's awesome designers if you're in New York, DC, Atlanta, Philly, Boston, or Chicago.
Get started today. Frame your photos or send someone the perfect gift. So go to framebridge.com and use promo code ChattyBroads, and you'll save an additional 15% off your first order. Just go to framebridge.com, promo code ChattyBroads. Framebridge.com, promo code ChattyBroads.
Okay, so
well, this is just a quick anecdote, but it's kind of funny because so on a whim a couple weeks ago, Gray talked about it. I think he talked about it on the podcast. He was like hungover, and I was like, "Guess what? We're going to Disneyland."
Yes,
which, by the way, I just have to go on a mini rant. Like Disney's system now is so convoluted and stupid. Where you have to you guys have season passes?
No.
Oh. So when you have the season pass now, you have to make a reservation. I'm using air quotes because of COVID. I don't know. There's still a bazillion people at the park when you go. It's no less than it was before.
Yeah.
But now when you have the season pass, you have to still reserve, and like there will be no reservations for 3 months in advance. And you're like, I'm paying for the season pass and I can't even find a reservation to go.
TBH, that's why we didn't get the pass, because there was always an option.
But there's so many tickets. More. Yes.
Yeah.
It's so silly.
Yeah, it's actually kind of upsetting when you spend the money on the season pass.
But so anyway, what I've just been doing is I've been going on and like just reserving a random day that's available, and I'm like, forget it. I'm just going to reserve it. So yesterday, the kids were at Gray's parents' last night. We had to drop them off. So we're starting with our new nanny next week. And so I have like my 2 days a week where they're helping. And so those are like my days to get stuff done. And then on Tuesday evening,
take care of business.
You got to take care of business. And then in the evening, it's like, okay, let's take advantage of this. The kids aren't there and we'll be able to sleep past 6 a.m. So like, let's do something on Tuesday night.
Yes. Get date night central, baby.
Yeah,
hubba.
So last week we went to the Korean spa, and this week I incidentally had a reservation for Disneyland, well, to specifically California Adventure. So I was like,
wait, and I know how the men feel about the Disney without the kids. I know. So how is he feeling?
Well, I told him, first of all, I was like, it's California Adventure. It's different.
And it's nighttime.
Yeah.
It's romantic, right?
Yeah.
I've had some romantic nights at Disneyland. What happened?
A couple of things. One, like I used to, not romantic, but I used to go with my old roommate all the time when we had season passes at night specifically.
I was
because it was so fun. We'd get there like 8. Yeah. We'd like ride a few rides. The lines were way shorter. We'd grab some food.
Just amazing energy. Yeah.
Amazing energy. I wouldn't go so that it's your thing.
It was my thing. It was amazing energy.
I still thought it was like fun.
It's like how I felt about DragCon, where I'm just like, it's packed. It is exciting and bright, and I feel full of love.
I get a little overwhelmed where I'm like looking at everyone's faces, and I'm like, your child is overtired. Take them home, please. Like I'm getting a little
now
like
as a parent, I might feel differently.
Getting just a little too much energy. Yeah. But still, I was like, it's gonna be fun. Like it's something interesting to do on a weekday night. I guess I just had a lot. When I was 21 and had my season pass, I also wasn't. I mean, I was working. I was a nanny, but like, I guess I just. Anyway, bottom line, we get there at like 7:30, and I'm like, we're standing in line, and I'm just like, I am exhausted.
You're tired.
Like,
You're tired.
my feet hurt and we've been here 20 minutes. Like,
My bunions.
Why am I
My
like
corns.
why am I leaning on this gate in the line as if I've been here for 9 hours? Like, oh God. So but already I was like, okay, this is still fun. We immediately go and get a corn dog. We're like psyched on the corn dog. Then immediately after the corn dog, you know, we get the cheddar popcorn and Gray gets an ice cream bar and we're like, okay, this is good. We get in line for soaring over the world. Gray's never been to California Adventure before. Like, we went with the kids a few weeks ago, but he had never been before that. So that's the other thing where I was telling him, like, California Adventure is kind of different. It's kind of more adult.
Yeah, it's a little more adultish, I would say, for sure.
It's a different vibe. So
You can drink in there.
Yeah. So, so he had never been on like soaring over the world or whatever it's called. So we wait in line for that. You know, it's like 50 minutes. We get to the front, and of course, immediately it's like the bad luck strikes where they bring us into it, and then they're like, "Oh, we overcounted. Like, you guys have to go out and like wait for the next one," which was small, you know. But I'm like, okay, and like
That's never happened to me one time at Disneyland where they overcounted. They're always perfect. They're always perfect.
They're usually really on top of it. So, but every single ride we went on last time a few weeks ago broke with us on it also. And we didn't have to like wait. Granted, we only went on 3 rides, but we didn't have to wait very long. But each one there was like a malfunction. And it's actually really interesting because someone else I saw posting on Instagram, I think it was Amanda Stanton actually. She was like, all of the rides were breaking when we were at Disneyland.
You know, now that you say that and I think about it, the last time that I went with Ember, almost every ride broke. We broke in Indiana Jones when the boulder's coming and Indy's hanging over us, and the boulder's right there, and we're front row, and Ember's like, oh God, oh God, oh God, for like 10 minutes, and she's full panic attack. I'm like, it's all pretend, okay? The boulder isn't gonna hit us.
Well, and you know it's like loud when you're on the ride too, where it's like, like in your ears, and the track is playing over and over again.
Pure horror movie. Like, yeah, no. You're like looking around. Okay, so you guys are in
but isn't that weird? I'm like, why is that happening?
That is bizarre. I wonder what that is.
So anyway, so there's that, and we're just like, okay, whatever. And then we walk all the way to the Incredicoaster, and then that is suddenly like shut down. Like it's we didn't get in line, but we're like, okay, all right.
You walked over.
So then we're like, let's go to the Cars one because that's supposed to be really fun. The racers. One. And, you know, they say like once you're in line past 10 or whatever, they'll keep everyone in line going through. We wait 50 minutes. Jess, I shit you not. We are at the gate.
Oh, no.
About to get on the car.
No.
The ride shuts down. So we're waiting for like 10 minutes. It's like 10:15 now. We're waiting for like 10 minutes. So at this point, we've been in line for an hour. And we're at the gate. Like we're the next ones on. They bring the technicians in. They get it going. We're like, hell yeah. We were just worried we weren't going to be able to get on the ride. We go 20 feet into the ride, where the part where they check your seatbelt, the ride shuts down. We wait there another 15 minutes. It's now 10:30. I'm literally sitting in this fucking stupid Pixar car writing down interview questions for like the podcast today. Like just doing my like, well, might as well take advantage of this time. Might as well get some work done. Wait there 15 minutes. Finally, okay, folks, take your seatbelts off. They escort us off the goddamn ride. And we go home.
And you just have to sadly go home because the park is now closed. Did they give you any sort of like pass, like get in line? That's crazy. They should give you like a front of the line pass. Like, hey, next time you come.
Yeah, no. So I was like, wow, granted, it's only 25 minutes from our house. It's not bad. But I was like, we drove 25 minutes. Evan, I think he was working, so he didn't text Gray back about the parking hack. So we paid $30. Oh, we drove 25 minutes. We paid $30 to go on Soaring Over the World and eat a corn dog and then wait in line for about a total of almost 2 hours.
That is so frustrating. I'm so sorry.
And I don't know if I'll ever be able to get Gray to go back to another date night again. It did not go in our favor. Disney gods. I just want to go on a Disneyland date on the Matterhorn.
Yeah, a cute Disney date in a little hoodie and cozy.
Yeah.
Do a little like vibration up against each other on the Matterhorn, even though they have the seat blockers now. Oh. Now you can't get sexy on that ride anymore.
Yeah, I literally had like, speaking of like shivering, I literally had like 2 coats on. I was like, Grayston, you do not want to be cold when you're in line at Disneyland. I'm just putting that out there. Bring your coats. All of these people are going to be unprepared because it was 80 degrees or during the day. But wait till the frigid winds come in and it's 62. Then you'll be sorry.
Wait till those winds whip through those Swiss
coming.
Alps, that Matterhorn, and you will be
Winter is
cold.
coming. So anyway, yeah, but that'll be, yeah, that was interesting. But anyway, okay. So now on to things going on in the news. First of all,
pop culture.
I want to talk about something related to The Bachelor first and foremost.
Yeah,
Because
let's
I
talk
have a
about
theory.
this. Okay. Put your theory out, Queen.
Okay,
put
so
it
you
out
ready?
into the universe because I think it's an
This
important
is so
theory.
dumb. And by the way, I almost DM'd Lauren and was just like, okay, tell me, is this theory right? So I was going through my DMs and it's so funny that people DM me this kind of thing. Someone DMs me, Arie's been off Instagram, Arie Luyendyk, like from my season of The Bachelor. Arie has been off Instagram or social media for like weeks now. Like, isn't that weird? And I'm like,
And you're like, thank you. Thanks.
why are they asking me? Well, I guess they are asking for a good reason because now I'm talking about it. So,
If that's true.
well, it's funny because I had, you know how it is. You're watching other people's lives play out on Instagram and you're curious about what's going on in their life, even if you're not directly involved in it.
It's a head scratching thing.
So I had noticed already that like, and again, I actually after this, I'm going to DM and be like, we talked about this podcast. Is this theory correct? Just tell me, just between me and you. So I had noticed that that they were with visiting family. And she said something about like, oh, my mom's going to be my partner, like taking care of the kids for the next month. And I was like,
You're like,
huh,
month?
that's interesting. And then this person DM'd.
And they haven't talked about where Arie is.
No. So, well, I don't know. I haven't watched every story, so I don't know.
You're
But
like, I document everything about their lives. I have this notepad.
I haven't pushed notifications on all of their. No. So I don't know. Maybe I have talked about it, but I feel like this person might have been sleuthing more.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, usually people make a post, where they're like, I'm going here. I'm going on a real estate trip to Iceland for a month and I won't have phone service.
I'm racing again.
Sure,
Catch
right.
me in Monaco. I'll be there for a month.
My parents are going there this weekend to the Grand Prix. Bougie bitches.
That is so fancy.
That is
so goddamn
that is
fancy.
Yeah, it is. Guess they're not doing a college fund for the grandkids. Instead, they're blowing out of the Grand Prix in
I
Monaco.
guess you don't care about Ruth and Frank. Apparently, you'd rather wear large hats, big shades, and sip on some Aperol spritzes on the coast. Wow, that sounds amazing.
I know, that got me rethinking their college funds. So anyway, I was like, oh. And immediately when that person messaged me, I was like, oh, is that true? So then I clicked on Arie's profile. I was like, huh, he hasn't been on there. And then I thought, I bet he's filming a reality show. And that's why he doesn't have his phone and is gone for like a month.
And that's like why she's probably with her mom for a month.
To have help with the kids. So I'm like, what's the reality
TV
show?
Arie. Okay, what do you think it could be?
Well, okay, so if it is a reality show and he can't have his phone, it's not like it's like he's on doing a series of house hunters or some shit. You would get to have your phone.
Can you imagine? You're doing House Hunters International, and they're like, no phones allowed. We're confiscating them. No leaks. This is House Hunters. We're very under wraps. No spoilers for House Hunters International.
Just thinking like, maybe some sort of HGTV show where they're like flipping their house or like, something like that.
Sure.
I don't know. Or like remodeling
Which I
it or
could
something.
see them
Yeah,
doing.
that makes sense. But then I was like, okay, one.
He's moving in with the Gaines for a month.
an immersive Chip and Joanna Arie special. So anyway, I was just thinking like, oh damn, it has to be like Big Brother or Survivor or like The Circle.
Okay,
or
so
like,
I think they've finished filming.
but I don't know. I guess also if
Celebrity Big Brother.
he was hosting a show, also I don't think he would really be able to be posting. Because that would kind of, especially if it was like a new show in development.
If he was hosting a show, he wouldn't maybe be able to say what he was doing, but he probably would be able to still post on Instagram, right? Like when Jesse Palmer is hosting, the man's been posting up an Instagram storm lately while he's currently hosting The Bachelorette. The man is posting
so
selfies galore, and they are 10 out of 10 sexy.
That is so funny.
So he can post.
I suppose so, but maybe like, okay, it's no secret that Jesse Palmer is the host of The Bachelor, though. Like, let's say Arie is the host of some new show in development and like a Bachelor offshoot that he's hosting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they would want.
They can do that.
Well, okay, look, even when they have Bachelor alum on The Bachelorette, they normally don't let them post during filming, right? Like that's normally something that gets leaked,
right.
and then after when the show airs, then they say like, "Oh my God, we had so much fun."
Right,
doing
that makes
this or
sense.
whatever.
That makes sense.
But still, like a month, that makes me feel like it's some sort of like reality competition series or something.
They were casting for a new show that I think was going to go to Netflix called The Traitors, which was taking place in, I think, Ireland, where it's like it's like half and half contestants. Half of them, it's like, I think it's kind of Amazing Race-ish where they're having challenges, but I think it's more like mental challenges. And there are half of the people are there like purely innocently, and half of them are traitors. So they're trying to sabotage what's going on, and people get voted off. And they see if all the traitors know, I think, who the other traitors are. But then the other people, I don't get this. It's a little bit like, I think, the show The Mole back in the day, which I always reference, that Anderson Cooper used to host, which was my favorite reality TV show. But I know that was casting a couple months ago, and I think maybe filming's probably happening.
Whoa. Okay, that's it. Wow. What if we got that spot on? What if Arie's appearing on The Traitors?
One, if it's not like Survivor or The Amazing Race or something like that.
Ooh, but I'm kind of excited, and like I will watch.
He's joining the cast of the Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore reboot. Can you imagine? Or House Hunters Italy, or House Hunters Amsterdam, or whatever. Yeah, no, but so I'm so curious to see if we're right about that.
No, maybe I won't.
Maybe I won't DM and just wait to see if we're right.
I think you're right.
I'm so curious though that if it is a reality show, what reality show he's on?
It's got to be like a Survivor, Big Brother circle type.
That makes me want to do it.
T. I don't know if I should say this because maybe one day we would. When I auditioned for one of these reality TV shows, part of my like hook was Bekah shows up.
And it's like swapping out. Yeah. Jess got pretty far in the casting.
I did.
We should maybe focus on this more.
I think we really should. And I do feel really passionately about getting us on a reality TV show. And I do feel really passionately about The Amazing Race.
I think The Amazing Race would be like perfect. Also, it'd be so fun to watch back and like recap what we were going through at like each specific stage. So if anyone's casting, I actually think that my friend Kaylee, who's been on the show a while back, I think she's friends with all those casting folks. So, I'll get on a call.
I'm like, hey, if it's not too many weeks, I can do it.
Well, I know that's the thing. It's like we've got to be gone for like 7 or 8 weeks. Like that's kind of
no, it's too much.
Insane.
If it's like 3,
yeah,
that's very doable.
A month, bye, honey.
Bye. Mama's going to Monaco.
No, I mean even 4 weeks is like I just remember on The Bachelor. Like, I mean, I think I was only gone like 5 weeks, but that felt like an eternity, and I didn't have kids.
Oh no, being gone for a month, but we could be weepy together.
I think you
we'd
get
just be
to have
sobbing through every challenge. We're like, we miss our babies.
Do you think you probably get your phone on The Amazing Race? Like they don't care if you're not in the middle of the challenge.
Yeah, I would imagine that like in the hotel room you could get your phone. Obviously not in a challenge, or else we'd be cheating.
That was the crazy thing about The Bachelor is like you have zero contact with anyone. I don't think I could do that for a month.
No, I couldn't do that.
That would be so confusing for the kids too.
I know. I don't even know what I would say. Amber would never speak to me again.
Like,
she would shut my ass down.
Interesting. You decided to leave for 4 weeks?
You're gonna up and leave and be on a reality TV show and not take me?
You've got kids, honey.
Bye-bye. She'd be mad she wasn't on it with
Nepotism, right. Do you know anything about it? You should be practicing it. Thank you. So anyway, that's my
I think that's a great theory. Also, speaking of Bachelor hosts, they've officially said that Jesse Palmer is the host of Bachelor in Paradise too.
Okay.
So they shut Wells out, man. Wells was really vying for Bachelor in Paradise host.
That would have been fun to have a different Bachelor in Paradise host.
I know. Apparently Wells is still going to be bartending, but I'm like, this man cannot. He's really been trying to get a promotion on this show, and they just keep putting him back at bartender.
They've got to be paying him more each year for bartender, though, right? There's got to be a reason, unless he really was investing in it for potentially being the host, and that got
it seemed like
down.
he really wanted to be the host, and just Jesse Palmer comes in, never been on the show, minus his season before, and just takes over everything.
Random. Well, that sucks.
So he's like, I mean, I would imagine what this means, though, is he's locked in. Like, he did the one season of The Bachelor, and now they're giving him Bachelorette and Bachelor in Paradise and officially announcing it. Like, he is our new host.
Well, after his best friendship with Clayton, throughout the season, it only makes sense.
And after the final rose performances, do you remember how dramatic he was?
Yes.
It was
ridiculous.
He was sitting in that drama stew, man. He was cooking it.
He was in it, slurping it, sipping it, stirring it, all in the pot.
He's just dumping it all over himself, just taking a nice little
Parmesan bath.
in that Parmesan bath. He was doing the breaststroke in the Parmesan bath.
Okay, we have more news to cover. Let's do a quick word from our sponsors.
Let's do a quick word. So I have definitely noticed with each passing birthday that my mental cognition has a few more off days than when I was, say, 22, which is completely normal. It's just this natural effect of having a lot more to balance on a daily basis and getting older. But I do think it is important for me and for all of us to make sure we support cognitive function as much as possible through every age, so it supports us right back. And I just ordered a new cognitive supplement called First Person, and I am so excited to give it a try and share the results.
So First Person is backed by 25 years of research and experimentation, which led to, not the 6-year-old kind of experimentation, real experimentation.
Proper.
Which led to a totally innovative, precision-targeted cognitive supplement system that uses the medicinal benefits of mushrooms to activate the full potential of human cognition and brain health. And the supplements use different varieties of functional mushrooms that stimulate your brain and body's natural activities like energy output, mood balancing, and sleep. And by the way, the like packaging and the way that everything comes, it's just really cool. Like it does feel so like
I opened
cutting
that
edge
box and I was
sleek
like,
and modern.
Ooh,
yeah,
aesthetic.
Yes.
Take those Instagram picture posts, baby. The capsule I'm most excited to try is their Sunbeam capsule, which is targeted for motivation and focus, because I won't lie to you all, come 3 p.m. most days, my brain is checked the heck out. I'm hoping this can help shift that. The Sunbeam capsules are meant to support the body's natural production of dopamine and should make me feel more clear, alert, and inspired. You already know that I'm going to be reporting back to the Broad Squad with this.
Yeah, and I've already actually used I've used some of these functional mushrooms before for like cognitive, whatever they call it, all the fancy science terms. And I definitely have noticed a shift in like my ability to focus and all that kind of thing. So I love that this blend in particular is really focused on specific points like
I'm gonna be sharp as hell.
Yeah. We're going to be on it. Watch out.
We're going to be firing off. Prepare yourselves.
So start improving your brain health as well and cognition with First Person. Get 15% off your first order by going to getfirstperson.com and use code chatty. That's GETFIRST person.com, code chatty for 15% off your first order. Getfirstperson.com, code chatty. By the way, these statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration, and these products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
So maybe you're just now feeling ready to dip your toes back into travel again, like Bekah's family. Maybe you're heading on a fancy vacay to Monaco, or maybe you've already got some big trip planned. Either way, do you have the right luggage to get you where you want to go? If you are not using Away, you've got to give them a try. Away makes a huge range of suitcases and other travel products that are perfect for any trip, now or down the road. That's the only bag that I use is my Away suitcases.
I've actually been using one of their carry-on suitcases since we first got it from the podcast like years ago. Yeah. And it's awesome. It's held up so well.
The best.
We travel quite a bit, and the Away luggage makes things so much easier. A few weekends in a row, we went to my parents' house, which is a few hours away, and we brought our Nylon Everywhere bag. from Away, and everything about it is just perfect. It has a full zipper that opens the bag into a clamshell so you can easily see the entire contents of your bag without digging everything out, which is the issue I've always had with duffel bags. And it's nylon, which if you've got little kids, it's crucial for when things spill or get touched with sticky little fingers. Also just being in the cargo zone of a plane, like this stuff can get really messed up, but it's really easy to clean off. Just a quick wipe down, the bag is good as new.
It really doesn't matter what you get from Away. All of their suitcases and luggage pieces are built to last. I have their hard shell carry-on, and I've had it for years and was instantly impressed with the quality and the attention to detail. It comes with an interior organization system that helps you get the most into your bag, a hidden laundry bag, a TSA-approved combination lock. I mean, there's nothing that Away hasn't thought of. Each bag comes with a 100-day trial, so you have plenty of time to make sure you really love it. Like Bekah was saying, I've had my Away bag for years, and the condition it's still in is amazing. I actually got my mom one for Mother's Day, and now she loves me.
Finally, she's proud of you.
Finally.
Start your 100-day trial and shop the entire Away lineup of travel essentials, including their best-selling suitcases at awaytravel.com/chatty. That's awaytravel.com/chatty. Okay, so you know, it's so funny because I feel like every time we talk about something in the pop culture news, all roads lead back to Kravis.
All roads lead back to Kravis. They are the center of the universe right now.
Yeah.
The hub.
It's just
And apparently, they're married. Do you think that it's official, right?
So apparently this is part of the controversy is like they got married at the Santa Barbara courthouse. Well, controversy. I just say the shit that people are talking about online. Mary Jo, her grandma was there, and Travis's dad, and that was it. And so people were like, what? No one else is there? But I read something somewhere where it was like, sources say they're going to have a big wedding in Italy and whatever, and Mary Jo wouldn't be able to travel internationally, so that's why they did that. And maybe Travis's dad wouldn't either. I don't know how old he is. But, so yeah, I think it's real.
Okay.
But then now we had thrown around the idea of doing the Santa Barbara courthouse, and I'm like, wow, now if we do that, then
people are all going to be like, ooh, very a la Kravis. Nice inspo.
And then I'll have to unalive myself. So I can't. Like, oh. But it was really cute. I love how they had their little just married sign, their little cans in the cars, very classic.
I actually, even though it's very much not what I would have pictured years ago Kourtney wearing, because her style has changed drastically since dating Travis, I did love the outfits. Like, I know Gray
loved it too.
I thought it was it just like, you know what I was thinking about? I was picturing looking at that photo in like 50 years. Like, it reminded me of kind of a Vegas, like when I look back and see like my, people our grandparents' age at like their Vegas chapel wedding with like the short dress. It just was, that was so fun to me.
It was fun. However, what you just hinted at is where I'm like, girl, you're wearing this because you're dating Travis, or you're now married to Travis Barker. You would never pick that out on your own.
That's kind of the thing that I just keep going back to with this whole situation is now, since I am a gigantic Kardashian new show fan, since now that's who I am.
Yeah.
I think they seem really wonderful. They seem like they're so in love with each other. We'll talk about their PDA in this last episode that was all over
we're gonna talk
the
about
news.
that.
But I think that, like I said, I've heard nothing but amazing things about Travis. They seem like they're super in love. But it always does throw me off when I see someone start dating another person and like their style changes drastically, whether that be a friend of mine or someone who's famous. That always throws me off a little bit. Now, granted, you're free to you are free to change your style and expression. I'm sure people feel that way about me when all of a sudden Jessica went from like blonde Orange County bitch to like, black hair and like a very different vibe. And I've always wanted to be like, that was always how I felt, and I didn't feel comfortable dressing the way that I felt like I truly was. So maybe that's how Kourtney's always been, a little bit of a punk rock queen.
My big sister has been like following, Kourtney was always her favorite and whatever, but she did say, she was like, no, I mean, like Kourtney always dressed super preppy when she was with Scott, and that was like his vibe. And then when they broke up, she just dressed like her sisters. and wore what they were wearing, and then now she's with Travis, and then now she's
Kourtney.
doing this.
Who are you?
But granted, that's
What
the
do
thing.
you wanna wear?
Some people don't have, I suppose, a style identity.
Right.
They're just, they don't,
That's
maybe
true.
they don't have as big of an interest. So they're like,
Right.
I'm
They're like, I care about
chill.
my personality, not my style. You stupid bitches.
But then if that's the case, then I am like, well, then why are you just melding it into whoever you're around? But
Yeah.
also, if you just like doing that, and maybe those people are just influencing you, and you're like, yeah, if you think I should wear this, whatever. It is interesting because that conversation has come a lot, even with Kim, with Kanye in the last episode, and I found that so fascinating of her just being like, I feel so like lost now.
Yeah.
That was one of the last things we had in common, was like him like guiding me in fashion stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was fascinating.
Yeah.
And definitely also seemed really controlling, but also
Yes.
I was just like, oh, this is so interesting to like see her just being like, you know, like this creative direction and everything was like what I relied on. And now I
Yeah.
like don't know how to dress myself.
I am loving that they're having these conversations and seeing her like
so interesting.
stepping then into being who she truly is. Because like she was saying too, it then was always about my sisters before that. And now it's just really me. And I feel so nervous. And just now seeing Kim just step into Kim.
You know what? And actually I've shifted like to, I mean, Pete Davidson still does bug me, but I'm like, it seems like they are just so happy and having fun together. But I kind of do wish that just selfishly, especially on the season 2, that we did get to see more of an arc of her being single in between
Yes.
these two relationships and kind of see her more like just on her own and what that looks like, because as she's kind of talked about before, she's like been a relationship girl and has always been kind of like a serial monogamous. So just selfishly, I would have liked to see more of her just being her on her
True.
own.
Even though I am waiting for Pete in the episodes.
I'm sure he's waiting for it too.
I'm so excited.
I roll. But anyway, yeah, their wedding was very cute.
It was very cute.
Very just
I'm
classic.
You know, I hope that they do have some sort of wedding, just again for the sake of the children, like we talked about last week, where
yeah.
it's like,
Well, no one was at this one, so that was better. It's just their little
for
private
sure,
thing.
but it's still
witnesses.
like when you have kids who are older, I think there's something, but still not old enough to like be moved out of the house.
Well, it's like, aren't you supposed to have them be like a flower girl and a
then
ring
it's a little
bearer or
bit
some shit?
like we're part of this family too. Like we're all uniting together. I don't know.
But I think they are. It does. I mean, it was literally just a private ceremony where like no one was. So I'm like, I understand that too, because I would probably. But yeah, yeah. Anyway, okay, wait. Let's talk about their PDA though, because
Yes, on the latest episode of the Kardashians, which this will come out again. Man, our timing.
no, actually, so last week or whenever we did the Kardashians episode, the episodes actually launch on Hulu on Thursday. Not actually on Wednesday night. I thought it was on Wednesday night, but it's not now. Because last week I went to go watch it that night. Well,
Okay.
Anyway,
Well, then good.
So
Okay.
we're on track.
So this
In
last
tonight's-
episode,
yeah.
in this last episode of the Kardashians, we see Scott wanting to be at Chris's birthday.
Okay, first of all, Scott was all over this episode. It was insane. Like
It
when
was
we
the
were with
episode of
Kendall,
Scott.
At the end, I was like, Gray Wong got home from recording and he was like, what the? Like,
Oh, when I was watching it this morning and Evan needed to leave to go to work and he just like, he walked by and he just stood still and he couldn't leave. And I'm like, Evan, don't you have to go to work? He's like, I need to keep watching this. I was like, I know.
it's good.
Yeah, Scott was everywhere, top to bottom on this episode.
So yeah, Scott, long story short, he ends up going to Chris's birthday party and it's kind of the first like public event where he's there at the same time with Travis and Kourtney.
Chris felt bad after they had a lunch together.
Yeah, a confrontation. But I will, okay, so during the episode, he's there. There's a part where they're like eating dinner and obviously things are like dramatized and edited, but there was a moment. And you know it was real because Kourtney after was like, well, I didn't know that anyone was like watching us. Mm-hmm. There was a moment where they're like in the living room and then there's like an open foyer to the dining room area and everyone's eating. and then like looks over and the two of them are like just in full embrace. And he's just like, I love you, my baby, my little sweet sugar. Like, and I'm, oh my God. So, you know, grabbing her butt, all of that shit. And so that was a moment because then Scott just kind of is like, okay, which I was surprised actually. They did not have any interview clips of him like going off or whatever. He was just kind of like, this is hard.
And when he showed up, he was like, he saw Travis. He's like, hey man, congratulations. Gave him a hug and then said congrats to Kourtney. And she's like, you've already seen me. And he's like, I'm just, you guys are together.
So,
no, he was remaining very calm throughout the dinner portion.
It seems like his anger and disappointment is really directed at the rest of the family.
Yes.
But actually, I understand where he's coming from because he was sort of like, Kourtney and I have been split up for a long time. She's been dating Travis for a while. Like I've sort of like accepted that, even though it sucks. But now he's in this new thing where he's like, feels like he's being shut out by his family. And there is a wild moment in the episode where he's like, you said to Chris, he's like, you said after my parents die, I was like your blood son. And clearly I'm not when you're like inviting all the other blood siblings and I'm just like not invited. And even though he's being a little bit confrontational and aggressive and maybe immature in his approach with the rest of the family, I do understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, I'm like, it's one of those, it's completely one of those situations where I get both perspectives. So It's like he's been part of the family for a really long time. He's filmed the Kardashians with them also since the beginning.
And he doesn't have it. They have been his
and he has
real
no
family.
Siblings. He has no parents left. And this is, their kids are connected. Like this is his family.
Yeah.
So that feeling of abandonment has to be devastating.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, even with Kourtney and Travis making out in front of everybody, am I a fan of the PDA like this? No. Do I think that probably the most sensitive thing to do would have been to just like not do that in front of Scott? Just hold tight for like an hour and then go back home and do that? Yeah. But what I all of a sudden also was then remembering, first of all, she can do whatever she wants. She's not, she owes Scott nothing, right? Do I think it would be the most sensitive?
Right.
Probably. But I then all of a sudden was thinking about like, I feel like I remember seeing headlines that they would have like the kids, Kourtney and Scott would go on vacation with the kids and Sophie, Scott's girlfriend, would come with them.
Interesting.
And Kourtney was there. So it's like she's walked through this on his side where he's brought women in and out who he's dating.
Although he said, I would never do that like in front of her. And so
like,
we'll see.
Do we have evidence of that? You know what I mean? And also you're bringing in like 19-year-old girls into the family.
Yeah, no. I have definitely my own thoughts on that. But I will say that I was like, I saw that and I was like, come on, you don't need to be making out, running your fingers through each other's hair, touching each other's ass in front of your ex.
In front of Ellen.
In front of your family. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't need to be doing that 20 feet away from my mother.
Yeah, no, that was, again, guys. That's where I'm like, you guys, like you're going to be alone again in like 2 hours.
Yeah, you're going to be alone together the rest of your life, being able to stick your tongues down each other's throats.
I completely get the desire to be affectionate with each other, but like we can all hold tight for a second. A lot of people feel uncomfortable by PDA, so like let's just chill for a second. Even if Scott wasn't there, it's
I don't. If I was at a dinner, and again, you guys are my friends, you're not even my family. If I was at a dinner and you guys just stepped off 15 feet away into your kitchen to start kissing and touching each other like that, I would be like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, like give you guys some space, like. When someone's doing that level of PDA, you're sort of like, am I like, are you trying to rope me into this? Are you into this? Are you sexually turned on by? And that's something that goes in my head where it's like, are you turned on by this being public and me being here? And by all of us being here, I don't want to be a part of your sexual fantasy where you're going to be an exhibitionist in front of all of us. I don't want that.
I didn't even think about that part.
like, I get it. You guys are turned on by making out in front of people. I don't want to be one of those people. Bye-bye.
I say no.
Unless I'm getting paid for this TMZ photos of
Right,
it.
exactly. Unless I turn in those pics and get that cash.
So it's just a little ridiculous. Another thing.
Yes.
Did you know where I was going with this?
Kendall? Are you talking about Kendall? Kendall and the cucumber?
Another thing from this episode was this moment before the Kendall and Scott altercation.
If you haven't seen this now meme, by the way, that's everywhere, you must immediately Google Kendall Jenner cutting cucumber and your mind will explode.
I mean, it's hilarious. She's got to be laughing at herself about this because the way that she is... First of all, I'm also like, Chris, did you not teach her knife safety 101 when she was like 5? Didn't everyone's mom teach them how to like cut an apple as like a first grader?
I sure thought so. I'd hope so.
Honey, you don't put your fingers under or in front of the knife. You keep them back, stabilizing the piece of vegetable or fruit.
Do this motion, this kind of scissor crisscross.
She had one of the hands crossed over the other, delicately holding the front of the cucumber while slicing the... It was like nothing I've ever seen.
All that I could think about was a few things I could think about.
And then Chris goes, do you want to have the chef do that, honey?
She's like, chef? Like, oh my God, this is like, I can't even, this is so unrelatable. No one can relate to this moment. There's so many moments.
Except for us, it's Uber Eats.
That's true. But the show, there's so many moments in it where you're like, oh yeah, like the divorce and the ex and meeting. This moment, you're like, and unrelatable. Same moment too. It's all the Kendall moments, honestly. Like when she's in the elevator with Haley, and she's like, "I'm here with my friend Haley, God. And honestly, our biggest hobby is just like getting IV bags. And they're asking questions like, how many times a day can I do?
Like these are like $300.
It's so expensive. And like, Haley's asking you like, how many times a day can I do like nads? Or what was she asking about?
I don't know what that is that they were talking about.
You know, I have to look up. But
although I was like, guys, I'll be friends with you. They're like, our hobby is wellness. And I was like, let's go, girls.
And I'm just like... Like, I'm so sorry. We haven't seen Kendall at all in this season so far.
And I see why.
And I'm like, oh, because unless Scott is involved having a confrontation, I am so wildly bored. It's just like, here's me and my crazy friend Haley. It's just getting IV drips. And
where was Tyler Cameron in the episode? Because everyone was saying that Tyler Cameron was on that episode.
I don't think on that episode. He was on the SNL episode.
Oh, he was in the background?
Constantly.
Oh my God, I missed that. I think I was like looking down and doing
stuff. I swear to God, Bekah, every time there was a camera in that SNL after party and they're filming, like zooming in on Chris Rock or Kim, Tyler Cameron, he followed that camera around 100%.
I'm sure he did.
He got in every
so
frame
funny
in that scene in the background.
That is so funny.
Tyler Cameron.
That is so
unbelievable.
Funny.
Unbelievable.
Oh my gosh.
But no, when I was watching Kendall cutting the cucumber, I was like, one, the way you're doing it looks fancy. Like maybe you're watching some high-end chef.
I know she had her like little long, slender fingertips.
Yeah, it's like maybe there's some like Salt Bae style chef who like cuts the cucumbers like that, and you're just, you're reenacting it. But also, I'm like, Lord knows this girl right here can't cook, and if all of a sudden there's a screen on me being like, or there's a camera on me being like, chop this cucumber. I feel like I would end up holding it weird. I'd be like, where do I? Like they were like, cut this onion. I'd be like, do I cut it down the middle? Because I always know how I cut it, but is it weird the way I cut it?
Oh man, that moment was good. Okay, so there's 2 more things that I really want to talk about, and then let's also just do our advice update.
Yes.
I don't know if we'll have time for a question, but okay. 2 things. 1, Julia Fox in her underwear.
Uh-huh.
Wait, but you had another thing you wanted to talk about too. We've got 3 things. Let's just talk about all of them. We'll get to what we can.
We'll do it quick.
We'll do rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
Okay, Julia Fox in her underwear at the grocery store.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that.
Uh-huh.
Also, Cara Delevinge and Meghan Thee Stallion at the whatever that was.
Yeah, some music award.
Billboard.
Yeah.
And then finally, you wanted to talk about
Jesse Williams'
penis
dick pic that came out. Yes.
Okay, let's start real quick. Julia Fox. Her justification, I guess, was like she was trying to make a statement. I think she's just, at this point, obviously fishing, but
sure,
I can't fault her that.
Sure. Make that 10 minutes longer.
Yeah. She said that her thing was if you could wear it at the beach, like why not at the store? And sort of like challenging that norm. No.
It's a weird, that logic makes no sense.
And I said, I don't want to see a man's bare chest at the grocery store. I'm not shaming anyone's body.
No,
I don't want to see a man's bare chest when I'm picking out my produce at the grocery store. I want to see food. I don't want to see people's...
my thing is more like maybe we open specific grocery stores for that.
Nudist grocery stores.
Sure, 1,000%. Nudist farmers markets.
That's gross. Again, I don't want someone's like dick or butt like grazing my
produce.
My produce.
You don't want the dick like going past the broccoli.
There's like those places where you, in Whole Foods where you like scoop the tapenade into the cups. Like I don't want some man's chest hair like in my tapenade.
You don't want the taint to touch the turnip.
I don't want the taint to touch the turnip. So no. And then also someone was like, well, I saw someone talking online about like, well, it is like acceptable to wear a sports bra. So what is it? The underwear? And I was like, okay, that is interesting.
That's
because
true. I do wear a sports bra out a lot.
Yeah, and if the underwear was like 2 inches going down the leg, then it would be like a small short, and it'd be like, well, that's kind of a revealing outfit, if you will. But it looks like a Calvin Klein set. That's the other thing. It's like it's underwear. I wouldn't wear underwear at the beach either.
No.
And also, by the way, if she was wearing a swimsuit, the trench is strange. But if she was wearing a swimsuit with kind of like let's say an oversized button-down shirt that was worn open, then you'd be like, okay, she just still a move, but she's coming from the pool or the beach. It just wouldn't be as weird, I think, even though the same amount of skin would be showed, right?
Right. I guess I don't know quite where I land with this. I'm a little bit like, I don't want to go. I feel like you. I'm like, if I'm in the grocery store, like, I don't want necessarily everybody's like skin everywhere. You know what I mean? I also want to feel like I can go to the grocery store in my sweats and not be like, oh, I don't have to glam up for this and be like strutting around in my bikini. But also I'm like, people I feel like should be able to wear what they want to wear. Well, yeah. So I'm like, go ahead, but also like,
I'm not gonna say you can't shop at the grocery store, but I'm also like, okay, don't be surprised when people are like, why are you wearing your Calvin Kleins to go shopping?
Sure. When people make a comment about it, it's a little bit like, well, you're in your undies.
And again, it's like, okay, point being, when we're at the beach, I have gone into a Vaughn's in my swimsuit.
Yes.
But that is just like, it's part of the activity, right? Like,
right. Well, you're like, also the Vaughn's is on the beach.
Yes, also, or,
it's a sandy Vaughn's.
You get out of the gym, maybe you're in little booty shorts and a sports bra. You've got your hair up, you're sweating. You could tell you just came out of spin class. No one's probably going to give you a second glance except to be like, you go, hottie. But let's she's acting as if she's wearing something normal. She's in a denim trench coat with denim knee-high boots. Like Calvin Klein's.
Also, her purse are jeans. It's a full pair of jeans. The legs are tied together. No, I mean it's just a stunt. You're like, clearly this is a stunt. I know. And now you're going like, what? People are surprised. And you're like, I mean, of course.
I thought it was an interesting conversation though, but it is silly how it's like that's underwear, but like that's beach wear, like because you also don't wear underwear to the beach, you know. But then it's
if I had to wear all of a sudden like underwear and a bra to the beach, I'd be like really in my head.
Right.
I'd be like very aware.
Right. It's strange.
Or if all of a sudden Evan walked on the beach and was wearing his like underwears, Boxers. I'd be like, I know he'd be like in his head. He'd be like, oh my God, I feel exposed, even though his little board shorts look exactly the same.
Right.
If not, maybe there might even be smaller.
Right. It is interesting. Yeah. But anyway, okay, so that let's talk about the dick pic real quick.
Okay. So Jesse Williams had a dick pic that was circulating everyone, even if the actual picture wasn't circulating everywhere, which I believe it was, everyone was posting about it like, oh my God, did you see it? Now,
so by the way, it's from a Broadway show, and in the Broadway show, he's taking a shower, and that's part of it, where he's naked on stage. Right. You're not supposed to bring your
Everyone
camera
was posting about this, and I just wanted to bring it up because I
want to hear your thoughts.
Raging.
Ooh.
I was so pissed that everyone was just posting like, oh my God, have you seen wow, wow, wow about Jesse Williams? When you go to a show like that, it is a hardcore rule that there are not allowed to be any any cameras in there, no photography, and a leaked photo of his penis without his consent is floating around the internet. That's like, and everyone's just like, hell yeah. And it's like, this is blowing my mind that everyone's just like, woo. Like,
interesting.
When you're an actor and you're doing, a theatrical play, you're going into that and you decide that you're going to be able, like, you're comfortable going nude for a role.
Yeah.
That's under the rules that the only people that will be participating in that are the people in the theater with no phones allowed.
I will say though, like him being a celebrity, again, I'm not at the level Jesse Williams is, but if I was to be in a Broadway show tomorrow and I was naked in that, I would know that people are going to pull out their, I just feel like, people are going to, and someone's going to sneak a pic.
You know that there's a chance.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that he's not aware that there's a chance, but they're really intense about like phones. In fact, some places take your phones from you when there's shows like that. There's, you cannot do that. It's not part of his consent. He's doing that, again, under the impression that he's going to be doing that in like this small space with these certain people. And sure, he knows that it might get out there.
Yeah. See,
But I'm talking about the problem I had was everyone being like, did you see it? Oh my God. I'm like, this was a pic that was not supposed to get out there. And I was just, I don't know. I was just thinking about if it was the reverse. Like if that had happened, like, would there be like, oh my God, check it out. I don't know. It just felt so yucky to me. Just the way that the public reacted.
I will say, I would say you're dumb if you go in a Broadway show and you think that that's not, that there's a high probability it won't get leaked. I would say that is very foolish if you don't just assume everyone's going to be circulating this pic when inevitably someone takes a photo or video of it.
Completely get that. Mm-hmm. Completely get that if I were to ever do that, I'd be like, there's definitely a chance that someone's going to sneak a pic and this is going to get out there. And I have to be aware of that. And I'm sure he was as well. I'm just talking about the reaction. I wasn't seeing anybody like, now people like in different like theater organizations came out and condemned it. And they're like, this is part of the theater experience. Like this is a sacred part of the theater experience. Right. And this was not a consensual picture that was taken. And everybody was just like, woo! And I'm like, dude.
Well, there is a lot of, I mean, I do think it's true though, like of how gross it would be perceived if it was the reverse, because also like, I know people roll their eyes when people talk about this, but like body shaming of men, and I'll see like women who are in specifically the body positive space even mocking men for being short or having tiny dicks, and I'm like,
I have a huge issue with people mocking people for being bald. Why don't we talk about that? You think any of these men can help that they are losing their hair?
Can they help that they're 5'4"? Can they help that they have a small penis?
And yet everyone is like completely comfortable always mocking. It's always like the bald joke or the short joke or the small. And I'm like, dude.
That's true. Like, oh, well, he's balding, so embarrassing for him. That's literally the same thing as being like, oh, well, she got fat, so like, fuck her. It's like, whoa.
It's like, are you kidding me?
Oh, that's true.
Mad.
That's true. And there is definitely a double standard. And granted, like, men, of course, don't have to live under the same oppressive, rigid standards when it comes to their appearance. And
of course not.
And it's just not on the same level. But still.
Not even close.
But we still can't condone saying that, like.
That's my thing. It's like.
It's objectifying or putting down someone's body.
Right. It's not even close to the level that, that women have to deal with it. But still, if we're having the conversation, it's like, well, also,
let's make sure we're doing through lines here of like not making someone a piece of meat or putting them down for something that's totally out of control, or even
just mocking any sort of body or physical appearance. It's just like, what?
Well, and I think that there's different lines too, where it's like, it just popped up in my head how I was like making fun of Nate's eyebrows, where I was just like, bro, get your stop over plucking your eyebrows. And I think there's different things too, like with both men and women that are like you said, with balding or like with the small penis, like that's something that is kind of universally shamed about men, like, and something that they have really big, and height, like something that they have really big insecurities about. And so I think that sometimes you just have to use your discernment too of like, is this something that this person is like going to be really insecure about? Like, is Nate probably going to think twice about someone like about his eyebrows? It's probably not going to be something that he loses sleep over. I mean, I guess I don't know. Maybe he could have eyebrow insecurities. But, you know, I feel like it's important to use your discernment about the way you're talking about someone because inevitably conversations about appearance come up all the time. Yeah. Okay, so then Cara Delevinge and Meghan Thee Stallion.
Okay, yes.
By the way, I always get tripped up because I'm like, I know it's Meghan Thee Stallion, but I'm like, I want to just say Meghan Thee Stallion, but it's Meghan Thee Stallion.
Oh, yeah.
Thee Stallion.
Meghan Thee Stallion.
Anyway, so, okay, everyone was sending me about this. I hadn't heard about it prior.
Yes.
But basically there was a Billboard Awards show. And here's what I could not figure out for all of my internet sleuthing. Was Cara Delevinge her date or not?
I don't know. I couldn't figure it out either. I got the vibe that she was.
I think she was.
Because when they were sitting together in the awards, Doja Cat turns around and was like, oh, I love you two together. Like that they like came together. Yeah. So I think that they were there together.
They were seated together in like the front row. There's no reason Cara Delevinge would be seated in like the second front row unless she was the date.
Right.
Next to her.
Right.
But basically throughout the whole like red carpet and everything, I mean,
Cara was working. She was well then and even after the show, Cara was like, there were photos of her like on the ground taking photos, like up photos.
Who does she remind me of? She reminds me of like someone that I just can't pin down. It really was irritating me looking at these photos. I think everyone else, I think it was a bit, she was trying to be funny, but it was like, she was always like in the background. Like she was playing this whole role like she was like her biggest fan. But it was really over the top.
It was pretty over the top. It was just like, this is just...
Like you said, she was on the ground, like literally on her back taking a photo.
Well, and then it was just all the clips, man. They just got all the clips where then like Doja's talking to Meg and then like Cara's head just like, I love you so much. And Doja's like, oh, hi. Cara Delevinge, hello. Like she's just...
And then she's got her tongue out and it's like in her face and then...
Yeah, I think, so the tongue thing, I think, because there was a lot of posts about Cara Delevinge at the Met Gala, like with her tongue, and then they were posting about it again at this award show. But she has dyspraxia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, which is like a disease that you get when you're a kid, which has like can make certain, like, how do I put this? It's like it can impair certain mobility functions, and a lot of that can have to do with like the quick movement of a tongue. And she's talked about having it before, so a lot of people are saying like it's probably related to that.
But she also is doing this like
sure. But no, a lot of people were posting about
because like, she was doing
she was flicking, so I think that might be that as well. So then I'm like, people are posting about this Met Gala. It's just like, what's going on with her? And I'm like, well, I think that she has dyspraxia. Looked it up. Dyspraxia. You know,
I mean, she's good. She's got a lot going on. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm just seeing everybody like posting about like what's going on. Like the fact of the matter is, if one thing is going on, she was happy to be there with Meg. She is Meg's biggest fan.
Well, I don't think you saw then there was fuel to the fire though, because then Meghan posted on her Instagram this photo that a fan had edited together, whereas Doja and Meg like together, like but the original photo
had Cara right in the
middle, and like her
Cara.
She was like doing some weird facial expression. So and she but posted the cropped out photo,
photoshopped version without her. Which, how devastated is she? Or
is this just a big inside joke between the two of them?
They might be just dying laughing.
And she's like, oh my God, I'm going to post this photo of now you cropped
Cara's
out.
Just like, watch how I'm going to treat this on the red carpet. And like, she's going to do this whole thing. And then she's, photoshopping her out. And they're all cracking up.
They've got to be close. Otherwise, why would she bring her as her date?
Yeah.
Like that, you don't do that.
No.
Unless they're your good friend. Cara, is it Cara?
I don't know if it's Cara. I always say Cara.
We'll call her Cara. Miss Delevinge. People usually bring their romantic partners or like someone very close as a loved one. It's either or. It's not like usually you would just go with like a random person as your date.
That's true.
To sit next to you as you receive an award.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming that this, I mean,
they're all laughing.
People acting like it was just like too much, Cara.
But I will say when she had her cropped out, I was just thinking about how much Cara was giving on the red carpet, flicking the dress, and then when like Meg's getting up to receive the award, Megan's getting up, she's just flicking the dress out, and then she's like, "You cropped me out of the photo." After all that, it was a lot.
It was a lot,
and I would have been like, "Hey, I need a little bit of space."
I think that's all I can say is I think it just must have been planned. In my opinion.
It had to have been, right?
Like, you just don't... You wouldn't Well, I'm making a lot of assumptions. My assumption is, if you're someone's friend, you wouldn't surprise them by being all crazy like that out of nowhere. I would hope
not, especially on a really big night of your life where you are getting awards.
Because let's be real, then that person's kind of making it about them and not about you. So... And apparently they had made, like, Cara had made some comment about her back in 2020 about, like, how close they are or whatever. So, like, I'm like, oh, what I'm assuming, I'm giving the benefit of the doubt here. I'm assuming that they're close friends.
Okay, yeah.
I'm assuming that they're close friends. And that she's like, oh my God, what if I'm just, like, so over the top where I'm just, like, trailing you and acting like I'm your crazy fan all night.
Yeah, she definitely, though, I will say there's definitely, like, numerous clips of Cara going up to other celebrities on the red carpet and like fanning out, and it's like a lot. I don't know. I sure don't know.
All right. Well,
do we want to wrap it up with an update?
Update.
So, broads, if you did not listen to I don't know how many weeks ago it was, where we did Broad Squad messages about relationships. We'll link the episode in the episode notes below. But there was a broad that wrote in that talked about being her ex that tucked her in at night. That was what she was talking about. Or talking about like the bedtime routine and that he was now dating someone and how, is it too much? Should she like pull back now that he's in a relationship with someone that they're exes and like they're super close? Like, how do you move forward? So this is the update. First of all, we're getting context on the update, the nighttime routine, because remember, we're like, what do you mean with like the nighttime routine? The nighttime routine, right? She said the nighttime routine, she has terrible anxiety. So the routine is checking my room, making sure my sound machine and nightlight is on, all doors are locked and lights are off. Then he's doing this.
Why is he making sure her nightlight and sound machine are on?
Because of her anxiety. So he like does like the checks for her. And they've done it for a long time.
Okay.
Then we had a handshake that we do and then he'd leave. And actually once they started dating, she would usually be chilling in the living room. I think there might have been a behind the scenes convo with them though, because it stopped happening. Okay. More context. Me and him dated for 3 years, but we did break up back in late 2018. So it's been a while. Late 2018 though, 2019, a couple of years. I also identify as asexual, so there's no real reason to be concerned about any kind of cheating.
Okay.
They are still together. Remember this message from a while back, going strong, and we all hang out together most of the time. She even attached photos. That's so cute. You're also welcome to share my Instagram if you'd like. It's at Abby Elizabeth 13. So this is from Abby. Okay,
I do think like I wouldn't even be concerned about if someone was I just have to put in my input where I don't care if the person's ex is asexual.
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't even actually cross my mind. I wouldn't be thinking like, oh, he's in there doing the bedtime
physically
routine
cheating,
and they're going to be like touching each other.
Right.
No, I would just be like,
it's the emotional piece.
Well, it's a intimate process. It's an intimate process of preparing someone's sleeping space and being in their close quarters in that way, in their intimate space.
And like she said too,
it would be like this.
Yeah.
I just went, I I had to pick something up at Chris's house, we would not go hang out and even talk in his bedroom, right?
Right.
Like, even if we were like, oh, he's like, I want to show you this shirt, I would feel a little uncomfortable and like I was in an intimate space if we went into his room to like go into his closet and look at his shirts. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, and then she said as well that his new girlfriend, when he would do the nighttime routine, would usually be chilling in the living room. So I understand in the context of like,
so
I get
alone.
it, Abby, I get it from your side. It's like you have your anxiety, and I totally understand like having someone who helps prep that. Like you said, you have that handshake, you have that moment where then you feel safe, and that's been your person doing that for a long time. But then also on her end, if she's just like hanging outside in the living room, I would get that would feel like I'm not participating in this with them and I'm kind of waiting.
Well, it's like a personal thing between the two of them. It's like a kind of like a shared intimate moment.
Intimacy. Sure. And then also too, she said that, but they must have had a behind the scenes conversation because it stopped happening. Which I'm sorry, Abby, if that then makes it hard with your nighttime routine. But I will say this, when we had the conversation before, Abby was asking like, okay, how do I, navigate this?
Right.
It seems like they've navigated it on their own and had a behind the scenes conversation.
Which good for her, not making it about her, just making it about their the good for the girlfriend, right? The now girlfriend, of making sure it just stays between the two of them, doesn't affect their relationship.
It's not happening anymore, so clearly they had that conversation. But Abby, you said, and you sent cute pics, the three of you all hanging out, and they're going strong, and you all are hanging out together.
Boom.
So it feels like it
resolved itself.
It resolved itself in a beautiful way.
Good.
Look at that. Look at that. We love that.
Okay, Rods. Well, that was fun.
Yes.
So actually, this upcoming week, what do we have? We are doing...
Tuesday,
we have our interview with Lena the Plug.
Lena the Plug,
I'm really
broads.
excited.
So excited. And then Thursday, Amanda from Not Skinny But Not Fat.
Oh yes, she's our pop culture queen who also happened to interview Kim Kardashian on quite an excellent interview.
It's a big week next week.
If you haven't, by the way, listened, I suggest going to the Not Skinny But Not Fat podcast and listening to the Kim Kardashian interview in advance because it's great.
And so we're going to have a big week next week. So we love you all and chat soon.
Chat soon.